Welcome back to Alpine Garage Sports. Today we're talking about Coach Prime's apology after the Arizona game to Colorado fans. What does it mean? Also, we know Jimbo Fisher got fired. Is Coach Prime going A&M? I think everybody knows the answer to that, but Stephen A. Smith still wants to kind of put that headline out there. But there are other notable coaching positions out there that are vacant now. And finally, for the first time in a while, we're not talking about ours being one of them. All that and more on this episode of Alpine Garage Sports. All right, so after the Arizona game, Coach Prime came out and, a little hat in hand, and he was specifically talking about he had a moment with the seniors that were on the team that he wasn't really happy with how he was able to, send them out on the last home game. And then he also talked about the Colorado football fans. So let's listen in.
Here again, I apologize on behalf of just myself, staff, or the support staff that we didn't send them out right, in which we wanted to because they deserve it. Apologizing to the fan base. They've been supporting the heck out of us, and they've been showing up and showing out another sellout crowd that ended in disappointment. We're so close, is what I told the team, but yet so far. We just simply truly don't know how to win yet.
So I want to follow that up by saying this. Coach Prime, you have absolutely, as far as the CU Buffs fans, and I'm not speaking for all CU Buffs fans, but I'm speaking for myself and for a lot of people that I know that have been CU fans for a very long time. There is no reason for an apology. So first of all, at the beginning of the season, anyone who had any kind of football sense knew that this was going to be a tough season. Turning over an entire roster and then going into probably the toughest conference in all of college football and trying to pull out 8-10 wins is going to be somewhat of a miracle. And a lot of people were calling that out early in the season. But I think the more pragmatic of us knew that if we got 4 to 6 wins out of the season, it would be very good, especially against the teams that we played this year. So where we're sitting right now, and keep in mind, guys, we have 2 games left. We can still be in bowl contention. Now, are those going to be very hard games? Absolutely. Is the trend that we have going right now say that we're probably going to win these games? It doesn't. But there's still a chance. And seeing as the fact that early in the season we showed life and the Denver Broncos have been able to figure it out, why can't we? I still think we have an opportunity. So I'm not throwing in the towel on this year yet from a win standpoint. But aside from that, the reason why I say there's no apology needed is, as a Buff fan since the late 70s, I don't remember very many years that were this exciting. In fact, I don't know of any year outside of 1989 that I have been this excited. And this is the only year that I've been that excited on campus, meaning that the fervor on campus is at an unparalleled level all season long. And it started out with a giant tidal wave with 3 big wins, 2 of those on campus with College Game Day and Fox Big Noon Kickoff there practically every week. I spent more than 15 hours on campus for 4 games. So I can tell you this right now, the ticket prices were higher than they've, ever been. And people flew from all over the country to come here. And so maybe that's part of the reason why Coach Prime is apologizing. But the point is, it's an experience. It's not just about the win, because after this is all said and done, the wins aren't good. We're not going to remember the wins. We're going to remember the experience. And in this particular case, the experience this year has been at another level. And I personally want to thank Coach Prime and all of the coaching staff and the players around the team. I want to thank Rick George and everyone that put this together, because talk about 2 different seasons last year and this year from the excitement level and the fan experience couldn't be any more different. That is what football is all about. It's all about the fan experience as far as I'm concerned. The wins and losses are ancillary to having a good time and enjoying yourself as a fan of a football team. And I tell you what, we all did this year. I know, because I spent a lot of time with a lot of you.
I got to run through a herd of buffaloes.
Let's go Buffs!
We're rolling.
Go
Yeah.
Buffs!
Go Buffs!
Go Buffs!
On campus, I spent a lot of time with a lot of you in the chat, and everyone seems to have the same sentiment. Yeah, we'd like to have more wins. Yeah, there are some things that probably would change, but this has been an extremely exciting season. So Coach Prime, thank you for your apology, but it's not necessary. You've given us everything that we've put into it and more. All right, second, Jimbo Fisher gets fired from Texas A&M. This is old news, even though it's a day old. And, you know, there's lots of names being thrown around for that position. But of course, every single person in the media is going to throw out Coach Prime's name for a lot of reasons. One, he's a hot coach right now. Two, because that name draws attention to their media pieces, including the one that I'm doing right now, actually. So it's not surprising that people would be bringing him up in this conversation. And the fact that really, could he do this job? I think he could do this job. Would A&M give him a huge bag to do this? Probably so. You know, there's a whole lot of things that go into the fact that he could probably fit there. He's a Texas guy. All that oil money that's there at Texas A&M and the kind of boosters that they have could really take what Coach Prime has to offer from a marketing standpoint and just blow it up to an exponential level even more than Colorado. But what hasn't happened yet is Coach Prime has really dug in his heels at Colorado, and he wants to win here. He wants to take a perennial loser and turn it into a perennial winner. Plus, he also has his sons here for at least another year. And it seems that his connection with Rick George and the University of Colorado is pretty thick. So obviously this isn't going to happen, but I wanted to bring it up because it is interesting, this coaching cycle versus last coaching cycle. The last coaching cycle, we were a part of that with the termination of our head coach at the time and who's going to come to Colorado. We were on the other end of this. And it's really nice and refreshing to see someone wanting our head coach, for us to be talking about this. Even though we haven't had an extremely successful season, people are still talking about it. And even our assistant coordinators, for instance, Sean Lewis's name has been brought up a couple of times for the San Diego State job because their coach vacated that position at San Diego State as well. And honestly, I think Coach Lewis would probably be a good fit there. We know there's a little bit of uneasiness going on in that position because of the elevation of Pat Shurmur. What's going to happen at the end of the season for Sean Lewis? Obviously, I like Sean Lewis. I think he's a good coach. I thought he was a good coach at Kent State. I think he was a good coach here, even though a lot of people didn't like his play calling. I'm telling you, I think personally there's more that goes into it than that. I think there's a whole lot of pressure at Colorado from a lot of different parts that could cause a really good coach to maybe fold a little bit in this under the pressure. But I still think, obviously, he's proven himself as a coach and he would be good there. So there's a whole lot going on. Then you have the Mississippi State job opening up as well, and people are talking about that. And some of our coaches' names are being thrown around in those conversations as well. So this time of year, it's just like, it's crazy. And being on this end of it, I like this end of it. I want people to want our coach. And in this particular case, they all do, and they can't have him, and that is a fact. So that is a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. If you guys have any comments you want to throw down there, what do you think about Coach Prime? And honestly, what do you think about Sean Lewis going to San Diego State? That is not in the news anywhere, but it has been brought up. And then also, if you came to the games or if you watched the games this year, throw down your special moment or your special day that you had in Boulder or watching TV during the Coach Prime era here at Colorado to kind of show Coach that we appreciate him and there is no apology necessary. Thank you for making Alpine Garage Sports part of your daily clicks, and we will see you in the next video.